I have good bladder controls. Hi, my name is Dr. Shah.
I'm Dr. Maxfield.
Welcome to Dr. Lee.
Today we're going to be talking about test day.
Which test?
That test. USMLE, COMLEX.
USMLE, COMLEX, board exams. Here we go.
We've got 3 tips on how to set yourself up for success.
Let's just start over the whole thing. What is your first tip for test day, Dr. Maxfield?
First tip. So this one I learned from experience, and it's minimize caffeine the morning of. Why is that my number one? So caffeine actually works in the kidneys through an adenosine receptor to inhibit sodium reuptake in the proximal tubule and decreases sodium uptake in the distal convoluted tubule, which makes you pee.
They didn't come here to learn about facts. They came here for tips.
You need to know why. It's so important. Minimize caffeine. You need a little bit. I need a little bit. But having to pee 10 times if you're a nervous peer in the middle of your exam.
It's a nervous peer. I want to know about that.
How do you not know about nervous peeing? It's a thing.
My number one tip, no one's ever heard of this before. I'm going to hit you with this. Dr. Maxfield's never heard of this before. This is an insane tip, okay?
It's going to be crap.
This is going to be great. All right. So this is what I do. You get to the testing center. You take out your phone. You have the UWorld app on your phone. And you do 10 questions while you're in the parking lot. That way, the first questions you do that day are not actual test questions. It'll give you confidence because you'll realize you're in a routine. You know this stuff. This is not going to be something that's way out of the park that you've never seen before. And so your first questions of the day will be 10 UWorld questions. They don't count for anything. You're going to be in a groove. And then when you get to the test, you're just going to be on fire.
100% agree. I actually did that anyway.
You never did
As
that.
common sense. I think everyone does that.
No one does that. Come on.
No, but really, I did do it. I totally agree, though.
Why did I think I invented this?
Pearls. Pearls from Dr. Shah.
Tip number 2.
Tip number 2 for me was keep life as normal as possible. Keep your routine. You don't want to make test day this big thing where you're like adjusting life all the way around it. And a part of that is, if possible, sleep in your own bed the night before. Why?
Go ahead. He stole my tip.
I know when I was taking my test, having to drive to these testing centers that were in different cities, sleeping in a hotel the night before, probably for step 1 and 2, I did that. And then for 3, and then all my tests during residency, I was like, you know what, I'm just sleeping in my own bed. And then I actually drove up the morning of and actually gave me like an extra hour to wake up, get my mind fresh. What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is very similar to Dr. Maxfield's number 2. I think don't do anything different on test day, right? You've been training for this marathon and you've been taking all these practice tests. You've been learning all the content that you need. Nothing is really going to be much of a surprise on test day. So don't do something new that you've never done before. So for example, kind of it ties in a little bit of Dr. Maxfield's caffeine thing. If you don't drink Red Bull every time you study or every time you take a practice test, don't do it on test day. It's not something you normally do. Why would you add something new to your routine that you've never done before? Don't eat something new that you've never eaten before. Eat the same thing you would eat every day for breakfast. Drink the same amount of caffeine that you would. I drink coffee every morning. So during test day, I drink my regular cup of coffee. So don't do anything new. You want to treat this just like you train for it.
Number 3. Mine is take the day off before.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about all those 24 hours of studying you could get in?
Oh man, 24 hours of studying. That's crap.
What do you think about cramming, Dr. Maxfield?
Oh, cramming is total crap. Actually, there's a use for it. So I'm giving you this caveat. You've got 364 days before test day to get the work done. I'm also a big proponent for taking 1 day a week off, and I think we both talked about that in another video. You've had a year to prepare for this test. You're not going to be learning a substantial amount of new information in the 24 hours before a test. I think it's much more valuable to take the time off, get a little bit of a breather, refresh a little bit, and then to get your mind back in the groove of test take and get it woken up the morning of, like Dr. Shah alluded to. Do just like a couple questions in the car to get your mind back on track and ready to take that test.
Great tip. Awesome tip.
What's your number 4?
Let me see what my number 3
You forgot
is.
again.
Oh, this is good. This one's good. Oh, this is good. Okay.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 tip, another fire tip, okay? Another slam dunk tip, okay? I'm gonna get roasted in the comment section here, I think. This is my number 1 tip for test day. Don't change your answers. right? You should almost never change your answer. But there's one case where you do change your answer. And that's if you go back, you read the question again, and there's something in the stem that makes your answer choice wrong. Completely wrong. Like, you know it cannot be whatever you chose. So that's the only time I would say to ever change your answer, because your instincts are usually right when you're in testing mode. When you go back, you're not in that same frame of mind that you were when you initially answered the question. But if you go back and, for example, you put congestive heart failure and then you read the question again and it says there's no JVD, then you're like, well, probably not that. Or if you put PE, pulmonary embolism, and then they say in the stem, CT of the chest is negative for pulmonary embolism. Well, obviously it can't be that, So, if there's something in the stem that says this cannot be right, then change your answer. If not, if you cannot convince yourself that your answer is wrong, don't try to convince yourself that another answer choice is right.
Yeah, and I still have a habit of doing this on occasion. Don't pick the one that you're not sure what it is. Sometimes it's like so tempting. You just see this word, and you're like, there's something about this that's calling to me. It's not calling to you. Don't pick that answer.
Well, we don't know. I mean, you've done well. So maybe
unless you've crossed out, unless you're confident about all the other distractors in there, and you've actually crossed out all of the other options, and all you're left with is this weirdly named thing, then pick it, obviously. Don't pick it when you're down to one or the other, and you're like, going with my gut. It's the weirdly named thing.
That's it.
Okay, here's a freebie.
Okay. This is 5 tips from Dr. Maxfield, 3 tips from Dr. Shah. Go ahead. Did you lose it?
Forgot it.
Okay, so don't forget things on test day. That's my tip for number 4. These are our 3 tips for test day, and good luck, everyone. You've trained for this your whole medical career up until this point, so just go out there and crush it. If you don't do as well as you hoped, just work hard your 3rd and 4th year of medical school, and anything is possible. Thank you for turning into our video.
Like, comment, and subscribe. There's a bell that signals you about notifications.
I'm supposed to say that. Do what he said.